We're going to solve this equation by factoring. In order to factor, we're going to need this to equal 0 if we're going to be able to solve it. So we're going to subtract 8x over to the other side. And if we put the variables in descending order, it's going to look like this. And where you've got x squared, then x, and then the constant. And then you are looking for two factors that will add together to make -8, but multiply together to make 16. So if you want to think of your factors of 16, everything that multiplies to make 16, and then of those, figure out what's going to make 8. So if you put negatives on the 4s, two negatives will multiply to make a positive 16, but add together to make a -8. So it'd be x minus 4 times x minus 4. Is how you would factor it. And you could always FOIL these back together to see if you get back to this original, and you do. Since we have the same factor twice, this is called, this is called a double root because it's the same fraction twice, or the same factor twice. But what I was going to say is what's called zero product property is if two factors multiply to make a product of 0, then one or both of them has to be 0. So the only way this factoring works is if we equal 0, because if we're multiplying two things and they equal 0, then one of those things has to be 0, which means x has to be 4 in order for this to be true. And since we have the same factor twice, this you can just list it once. So the solution is 4, and we say that that has a multiplicity of 2. Multiplicity of 2. And that multiplicity is going to come into play in a later chapter, but not necessarily in this chapter.